welcome indeed to another thrilling episode of Prog Review. The last one went down well. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I thought we would definitely push on with the IQ review, and this is Resistance is Useless. No, it's just called Resistance, and it sounded like their 12th studio album. IQ, there is a band. I always tend to draw comparisons with like Marillion. You know, it's what if Marillion hadn't have made it? Probably very unfair. And I always say that, you know, IQ are like Marillion but without the charisma and the hits. I'm so mean. I remember back in the day you see IQ posters all over the place, you know, cause they used to tour. They used to play places like was it the Marquee, places like that, and you used to see their name up, but you know, never saw them in the chart or anything. Was it IQ and Palace, Jadis, another one? You know, you'd see these names up and you think, oh, that's curious. Curiouser and curiouser, but they're still going, and there's a new album, like I say, called Resistance. I think it might even be out officially this week, but it's on the old Spotify. I better do the thing. Do you want to do the thing? Should we do the thing? Thing there, because I know you like the special effects. I'm wearing a jumper because someone took umbrage at my t-shirt, so I'm wearing a sensible dad jumper today, so I'm not, you know, like trying to appeal to the prog crowd. Just going to wear my dad jumper instead. So yeah, this is another album, and I thought, okay, we'll give it a spin because people ask, you know. I try and I got to keep the fans happy, and thought I'd tune in. I think I did have. Wait a minute. Let me look at the old. Let me have a look at the old. Thing. Yeah, Dark Matter and Road of Bones. I did listen to those because I've got those in the archive, but I've never got around to reviewing them, probably because they're, I don't know, I'm not a fan. I can't pretend to be a fan, so you can imagine my dismay when I clicked on this and it said it was an hour and 48 minutes. An hour and 48 minutes in length. An hour and 48. I'm going to say it again. An hour and 48 minutes. I should have just gone for the 2 hours. I did start writing notes, but then I drifted off during For Another Lifetime, which is the first epic on the record, because there's some long pieces. That's 15 minutes. And the others, there's 20 minute pieces as well, and I just kind of zoned out. I went to my own private space, you know, my little safe house. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I did write notes, but I feel a bit. Is it worth me reading these notes out? It starts off with a track called A Missile, and it's got crunchy guitars, you know, that lots of incessant rolling drum fills, and there's a Mellotron style voice patch in there, so that we know it's prog. Weird whistling wah wah noises on the verses. Then it went all spooky, like it was Halloween. Very busy piece. In fact, a lot of the music on this is very busy. It's like they had lots of ideas and they just threw them at the wall to see what sticks. And there's no space or pacing in it. But towards the end there was a Tony Banks type synthesizer / keyboard solo, which made me think, oh, then there were 3. Ooh. Which will get the Genesis fans all alert. Rise, I just put the word Sonic Sludge. That's all I've got there on my notes. Stay Down, it starts off like a piano ballad, and then it gets all moody, and there's tick-tocking clocks going. You think, oh, this sounds interesting. And there's lots of crashes and that, because it's the 5 minute mark. 5 minute mark's been building up. It's all mood, and then the crunchy guitars come in, but there are no hooks in it. I mean, I couldn't hum it to you. I couldn't whistle it back. And then it goes really big and grandiose, and then it just stops and goes crashing back to, you know, doing the little thing. just kind of collapses in on itself. Yeah, and then it goes into a track called Alampandria. Again, textures, lots of moody, and a very kind of almost Eastern. I imagine it was, I don't know, could have been guitar, could be keyboard, but it's kind of that's not an approximation of it, but it sounded like it's Eastern music, and I thought it could be interesting. I thought, this, we might be going on a different direction, but then the usual leaden prog offbeat drums comes in, and you've got this descending bass part, which I thought was interesting. And it's, I thought if you stripped the vocals off it could have made good film music. It could have been in a movie. It was cinematic. I'll give it that. The most cohesive track for me was a song called "Shallow Bay," which follows that. It's got lots of sweeping. It's got a sweeping guitar solo, and I dread to use the M word, but I'm going to use the M word again. Marillion. It's very Marillion-esque, and yeah, of what I'd heard, I thought it was all right. If anything, the opening with the drum and the keyboards, I thought it was Philadelphia by Bruce Springsteen. I heard it on the radio the other day. Yeah. On the streets of Philadelphia. Do you remember that one with the film with Tom Hanks? Peter Gabriel's on that soundtrack too, Lovetown. But I'm getting off the point. And it's got like fretless bass on it. And you suddenly realise that the album's all over the shop. It's just everywhere. But it turns out to be a standard ballad, a bit 80s. And you have this really strange big church organ finale. It's like, why is that there? Why? And then this is where I drifted off for Another Lifetime, and it starts with this kind of weird barrel organ intro. It's not a barrel organ, but it's like I don't know. It's like it's like, here comes the big top. Nonsense lyrics. I didn't get them. Paul Bearing fakers. Excuse me. Then the vocals slow down purely for effect, which I thought was that fucking appalling, did I? Yeah. But the instrumental bit was interesting, if a little generic, but it was melodic. But it didn't really go anywhere, and then I drifted off. During that, I went into Darren's space, woo, and the rest of the album just sounded very much like what had gone before. And again, if you like the standard prog tropes, drawn out and thrown, and like I say, there's probably a good album in here, but this is what happens when bands are left on their own, without, I don't know, maybe there is an external influence. I don't have the notes, I don't have the sleeve notes here because it is a download, but this is where people say, Darren, you don't know anything about music. It's true, I don't know anything about music, and neither do you. So I don't know if they've got an outside external producer or if they're doing it themselves, but there's a distinct lack of focus, and I don't think it knows. I think there's a lot of ideas. It's like, let's put it all on there and see if anything works out, and you end up with a very long, for me, meandering record. Again, these people can play, and there are some interesting bits in there, but it's presented in such a way, it's just very, very difficult. And if you like this science style of music, good for you. I just found it an epic slog. I found it very, very hard, and I think they do themselves a bit of a disservice. Again, it's this thing about being hung up on the prog genre, and so if it's prog, it's got to be twice as long and twice as meandering, and if the song isn't more than 15 minutes, and it's just, oh boy, and it becomes a cliche, and this is what you get here. It's just cliche after cliche, and a sense of there's nothing new, there's no new ideas, and it's a real shame. And this is why I despair at modern prog, because they're hung up with that fantasy ideal, of long songs and instrumental passages and mood and texture, but ultimately not really leading anywhere. And it's the same with this. the singer Peter Nichols, his vocals have improved because I used to find him very irritating. But yeah, I thought he did all right. But again, the lyrics, I don't. It is utterly forgettable. It truly is totally forgettable. So yeah, that's going to get me a whole army of fans saying that. But I think you would all agree with me that if someone took some scissors to this and cut it down, there is a really good album in there. But this ain't it, because like I said, they're obsessed with the whole prog genre, and that's a problem. I think that is a problem for a lot of these bands, and they need to think about what they're trying to do first and foremost. What is the point of this album? What is the point of this song? Where are we going? Where are we taking the audience? Do we need, 3 or 4 songs that are over 15 minutes on an album? Again, there are very few bands that can pull that off. So yeah, in terms of a rating, oh blimey O'Reilly, I'm going to give this 2 Shallow Bays out of 5. That's 2 Shallow Bays out of 5, because I quite like the album cover, because it looks like the Eye of Sauron, doesn't it? Oh, it's all cosmic and orange. But the band proved that you can have too much of a mediocre thing. See what I did there? I subverted your expectations, and this album doesn't. It just gives you more and more of the same, and that's a real shame. Feel free to insult me in the comments. Your comment will get deleted. If you want to criticise sensibly. Be respectful. Come on. Let's all play nicely. We're supposed to be adults. But yeah, it's a tough one. But if you love IQ, boy, are you gonna love this. That's because you think this is the album you need. Because you think that this is what all progressive music is, and it isn't. There's more to it than that. Oh well. If there are any other suggestions, let's play the game. I'm tired. I've been doing this for a long time. Let's play the game. If there are any suggestions, let us on Spotify, for example, that you want me to try and get through. As long as it's not another hour and 48 minutes. Life's short. We could all be dead tomorrow. Do put them in the comments, but please don't call me names. Don't tell me that my opinion isn't valid, because it is. A lot of the time, I wind you up. I pretend not to know things just to, for a joke. I'm really flippant about things. It's all part of the joke, But I think some people take it all too seriously. I do it it's too clever. That's the problem. It's too clever. I'm just too damn clever for you. And on that, there's only one more thing left to say, and that is prog on.